everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ansley and welcome to the third and final installment in my reading vlog series for It by Stephen King. This is the very last reading vlog. I read the end of this book. At the end of this video, you'll be able to see my final thoughts. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed going on the journey of reading this book with me. Yeah, let's finish it up. Hello everyone. My hair is wet. I look insane. It's okay. It's been a few days. It is currently June 14th today. I've officially been reading this book for 2 weeks. Basically, let me set the scene for this chapter, okay? 5, The Ritual of Chud. So, the losers are sitting in their library. They're sitting in the library. They're telling stories. It's like 1 in the morning. They're like, let's go home and like go to sleep. So then you're following them as they go home. Richie, Ben, and Eddie walk home together, and then Beverly and Bill walk home together. And Beverly just starts telling Bill about this time when she was young, when her dad started to like go crazy on her, and she ran out, and then all of a sudden Henry Bowers and like his gang found her, and Pennywise was like talking to Henry, and he was like, kill her, kill her. So, and then it goes to Mike's point of view, and Mike is in the library, and he's like closing up shop and stuff, and then he like hears something, and he's like, I'm not alone in here anymore. So he starts to walk around. Henry Bowers, who escaped from the mental hospital, Juniper Hill, he escaped, and none of the losers knew because they had not been looking at the newspaper. Been caught up in their reunion, and they haven't been reading the newspaper, so no one knew that Henry escaped. So Henry is there, and Henry is like, the moon like talks to me. He's saying how like the moon, the face of the moon turns into Pennywise and talks to him and like tells him what he needs to do, and Pennywise is telling him that he needs to kill Mike. So that's where we are. Henry ended up stabbing Mike in the leg, and it's really bad, and Mike goes to call 911, and Pennywise picks up the phone. It says, Mike dialed the hospital 553711. He closed his eyes as the phone began to ring, and then they opened wide as the voice of Pennywise the Clown answers. Yeah, so then in the last line that I read, it says, he lay on his side, dragging his leg up until he's in a fetal position. He took 2 turns around his right hand with the belt and concentrated on holding it as the world drifted away in those cottony balloon-like clouds of gray. So Mike is currently like bleeding out on the floor of the library right now. That's where I am. And I'm scared that I know he doesn't die in the movie, but I don't know if he dies in the book. I don't know, and I'm really scared because it feels like he might die. I have about 60 pages of this chapter left, so that's my goal today, is to finish this chapter and be on page 1000, and yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm back with an update. I have officially hit page 1000. So, okay, on page 1000. This next chapter is called The Circle Closes, chapter 20. Let's talk about the last chapter, chapter 19. That was like a 90-page long chapter, which in the span of this book is not that long, but it was long for me. I've been reading it for like 3 days. A lot of stuff happened. I still don't know if Mike is okay. Like, we never really find out if Mike is still alive or not, but Henry Bowers got out of the library, and he's like hiding, and he sees an ambulance and cop cars like rushing to the library. So I think that Mike is gonna be fine. Like the ambulance is there, he'll be fine. So then Henry goes to the hotel and goes to Eddie's room, and he's like about to kill Eddie, but Eddie like shuts the door on him, and then like they get into this big fight, and then Eddie ends up stabbing Henry, and he's like on the floor, and they don't really know if he's dead or not because he's like making noises. And then They go back, like, this whole thing is, like, going back, like, going flashbacks and stuff because Henry's back. So then, like, Beverly is having this flashback of when Henry tried to kill her in the Barrens because Pennywise told him to. Beverly and Ben, like, walk out of the Barrens and they find Bill and Richie and Stan and Eddie, and Beverly, like, tells them what's going on, and Bill is like, we need to go down there. Like, it's not their property. We have to go down there. So they go down there, and then Henry and Victor and Belch start running after them, and it's, like, super scary. They're, like, gonna get them. He has his knife. Henry has his knife and stuff. And then it starts thunderstorming. Like, it is thundering and raining in, like, sheets right now in the Barrens where they are. And Bill looks at Ben and he's like, do you know where that, what is it called? They call it, like, a Morlock hole or something. And I think basically it's like a sewage pipe, like, coming out of the ground, and, like, it's this pipe, and, like, the water comes out of it into the river. I think that's what it is. And they basically just say, like, they call it, like, this Morlock hole, and it's basically just, like, this hole that comes out of the ground. It's like a well, pretty much. So they go to that, and all the losers go down into that hole, like, into the sewers. And then Henry and Victor and them are, like, Henry is, like, coming down the hole, and then, like, all the losers are standing around and, like, throwing stuff at him, so he, like, gets out of there. So now they're stuck in this hole. And the last line of that chapter, let me read you the last line. In bending forward slightly against the rush of the current, Bill Denbrough leads his friends into the dark where the boat he had made for his brother had gone almost a year before. So they're in the right place, pretty much. Like, they are where it is. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about, like, Pennywise controlling Henry, and, like, because when Beverly ran and, like, found Ben in the clubhouse, Ben was like, oh, like, Henry's fine, like, he's not, like, he's crazy, but he's not gonna, like, kill you or anything. But then they figure out, and they're like, Pennywise is controlling Henry. So, like, Pennywise wants them dead. If Henry finds them, he will kill them, kind of thing. So that's what's going on now. They're in the sewer, and it's all about to end. They were talking about how when they were walking around before they went into the Barrens, Richie and Eddie and Stan, they were talking about how the day, like, that they're having in Derry right now is, like, very final, and how there's, like, nobody out right now. And when Henry was, like, about to beat up Beverly, there was this guy on his porch, like, watching it, and he just, like, picked up his newspaper and went in his house. And they were like, nobody is, like, if Pennywise gets them, no one's gonna know. Like, no one will be able to see it. Which is kind of true, because, like, only the kids can see it, I feel like. Or, like, the adults just ignore it. But the next chapter is kind of short. It's, like, an hour long. It's, like, 20 pages long. I might try to read that tonight, or I might just be done for today, because I feel like I'm so close to the end. Like, this is crazy. Just read chapter 20. It was like 20 pages long. It wasn't bad. Basically we get this chapter from Tom's point of view, which I freaking hate Tom. I think he can go away. But he's, like, having this nightmare, and in this nightmare he is Henry Bowers. Like, he is in the point of view of Henry Bowers, and he's in the sewers where the Losers Club is now. So, like, chapter 19 ended with the Losers Club in the sewers. So Tom is, like, having this dream that he is Henry Bowers in the sewers. And then you go to Audra's point of view, and Audra is, like, woken up in her sleep, and the light of the bathroom's on, and there's, like, a voice that's telling her, and she's like, Audra, we all float down here. And it's Pennywise, of course, but she doesn't know that. And so she, like, calls the Derry townhouse and is like, put Mr. Denbrough on the phone, and he doesn't answer. And then the guy at the front desk is like, he got a call, like, 5 minutes ago, and he answered that one. So then she's, like, freaking out. So then she leaves, and when she leaves, like, Pennywise tries to, like, get her through the door. So then she starts running to her car, and she makes it to her car, and then Tom sees her and is like they leave together. So then, because Tom and Audra are both going to the sewer to go and find their spouses, so they go together. And then it goes to Eddie's room, and Eddie killed Henry. Henry Bowers is dead. Done. Thank God. He needed to go. So Henry Bowers is done, and all of the losers are like in Eddie's room, and they're like, what are we gonna do? And then they call Mike. They're like, where the freak is Mike? And then they call the library, and they're like, oh, Mr. Hanlon was stabbed, and he's very close to dying, so he's in the hospital. So then Bill is like, it's time, like, we have to do this, like, we have to do this final thing, the finale. So now the losers are in the Barrens, and they're going to the entrance to the sewers where they went when in 1958, and Bill sees his wife's purse on the floor and is like, my wife's in there. And that's where we are. Beverly doesn't know that Tom's in there. So yeah, that's where we are right now. I'm done reading for tonight. I'm on page 1022. So I'm gonna go to bed, and hopefully I'll finish this tomorrow. I have like 130 pages up. Hello everyone, and happy June 15th. It's officially been 2 weeks and 1 day of me reading this book. And I don't want to jinx myself, knock on wood, but I feel like I could finish this book today. I have 130-ish pages left. I have 4 hours left on my audiobook, and I feel like I could finish this today. But part of me is like, do I want to finish it today? Because I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to drag it out. But I don't know. It just depends. We'll see. I have my coffee here. I'm just going to sit and read. I have about 130 pages left. That is not a lot. Like, that's so little. We'll see how much I finish today. This next chapter is long. It's called Under the City. And both of the timelines, 1958 and 1985, are matching up. So all the characters are in the sewer right now, including Tom and Audra. So we're just gonna see how that plays out. Okay, they keep talking about how there's like a finality with what's going on right now, and it's almost done. And I'm so sad and scared, and I hope Mike is okay. Okay, everyone, let's talk. Okay, I'm on page, I'm on page 1104. I have 50 pages left. I am going to finish it tonight. I'm going to take a break, because that chapter was a lot, okay? Eddie's dead. Let me just say that. That really broke my heart into quite a few pieces. I knew it was gonna I literally knew it was gonna happen, and it still made me upset. Eddie's dead. That weird scene happened that everyone talked about on Reddit, that I'm sure everyone knows about. That happened. That was freaking weird. I don't think that needed to be in this book at all. I think it added like a little weirder layer to this book. I don't think that was needed, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but I still don't think that was needed. So basically what happened in that chapter, you find out a lot about this turtle thing, which I haven't been talking about this turtle thing really, but it's been in there since like the first page. And basically there's this like turtle, and this turtle created like this macroverse. I hope that's what's called, this macroverse thing, and Pennywise is like in that universe, and Pennywise is an alien who came down to Earth in like the 16th century. Okay, so he's like an alien, and the turtle is like against Pennywise, and the turtle is like a power working against Pennywise. So in the timeline of 1958, when they went into the sewers to kill Pennywise, they didn't kill him, but they like wounded him, and like they believed that he was dead, but he actually was not dead, but the kids believed that he was. So then when they go back in 1985, first of all, they see Audra and Tom. They're both dead. Sad. Not really. So they see them, they're both dead, and then they're like, we have to kill it. Like, we have to kill Pennywise. It needs to be done, okay? And we get a really interesting, like, POV of Pennywise, and he talks about how, like, he just, like, he sleeps and he wakes up every 27 years and he eats. And because the question of, like, why did he call the losers back is, like, in the back of your mind. Like, why did he call them back to Derry? You know what I mean? Like, if he's been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, why did he call the losers back? But Pennywise basically talks about, like, the losers were the only people that ever actually hurt Pennywise. Like, they hurt him, and he had never, like, felt pain or hurt before until the losers hurt him in 1958. And that's why he's like, I need to bring them back and kill them, even though they're adults. They still wouldn't be able to hurt me again. You know, like, that's his, like, reasoning, I guess. I just don't know what else to say. The next chapter is called Out. I think they're gonna be getting out of the sewers. I hope so, because that's freaking scary in the sewers. But we also find out that Pennywise is, like, real form. I don't know if it's his real form or if it's just a form he's taking. I think it's his real form, but it's a giant, it's like a big-ass spider. And I hate spiders. I literally had a nightmare about spiders last night, and this isn't helping it. He's like a spider, and he was a female spider, so he, like, laid a bunch of eggs so that they'll wake up, like, even after he, like, if he dies, they'll wake up. And Ben killed all the little spider babies, so they're gone. But yeah, basically that's where we are. Henry's dead. Mike is not dead. They try to give some of their power over to Mike, and they can, like, feel like they feel connected to him, so, like, they can tell he's not dead. Mike is not dead. Eddie's dead. I'm really sad about it. Like, like, it was really sad. It was so sad. Eddie did not deserve to die. Like, I will never get over that. Eddie did not deserve to die. And the way that he dies in the newest movie from 2019, the way he dies in that movie literally breaks me every time I see it. It is so, so sad, and it was so sad in here, and Beverly is just, like, sitting and holding Eddie's dead body, and it is actually the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. It ended with the losers this chapter ended with the losers in 1958 trying to find their way out of the sewers because they're lost. So yeah. And they keep talking about how Eddie has, like, this compass in his head, and he like tells them where to go. And he's, like, lost. When it's 1958 and they're trying to get out of the sewers, he's lost. But now in 1985, he's dead. So how are they supposed to get out? Really got to think about that. I have one chapter, and then I have the last interlude, and then I have the epilogue. So will I finish that all tonight? That's the goal. Look at how much I have left. Like, that's crazy. I'm basically done.
Officially finished it, the whole thing. Okay, so I've had a moment to process the book and process what happened and the ending, and let me just say 5 stars. Like, I'll give my full review at the end after I watch all the movies and think about it for a while, but this book is gonna be 5 stars. It was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. It didn't feel like it was 1,100 pages. Like, this book is so huge, and it just felt like it was over too soon. Like, I'm actually so sad that it's over. Like, I'm so sad that I'm done reading this book. At the end, the losers get out of the sewer, and there's a flood in Derry, and Derry is just destroyed. Like, Derry gets destroyed completely, and like they make it out, and then Bill and wife Audra is like catatonic, and Mike offers Bill his house for a few weeks to like nurse Audra and like see if she'll like become normal again. And then Ben and Beverly move in together, and they become a couple, which is so cute because reading the book, like reading it and not just seeing the movies, but like reading the book, like Ben and Bev definitely should be together. Like Bill and Bev, it's not like Bill should be with his wife and Bev should be with Ben. Anyway, and then Richie moves back to California, and then Eddie is dead, which is so sad. Tom is dead also as well, and it ends with Bill riding on Silver and riding on his bike to beat the devil, and he like goes over this really big hill, and Audra like awakens and is like okay again. And they all the losers forget everything. Like they start forgetting things. Like Mike's written record of what happened like starts to fade. Like all trace and memory of what happened, the losers are forgetting. And yeah, they're just forgetting. Their memories are fading. Bill has his wife again. The miniseries from 1990, and then the It Chapter 1 from 2017, and then the It Chapter 2 from 2019. I'm gonna watch all of those, and then I will come back with my full review of It by Stephen King. If you've made it this far in my videos, thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble on about this book for like 2 hours. I have a lot to say for my final thoughts. First of all, I just want to say I'm giving it 5 stars. I actually have written down
some of the points that I want to talk about in my review. So the first thing I want to say, just preface this, if you want to read this book, I would 100% look up trigger warnings, because there is some really weird stuff that happens in this book, and there's a lot of language and like slurs said and a lot of stuff that happens in this book, and I would look up trigger warnings if you want to read it. But I just want to say, I feel like It by Stephen King has a reputation for a huge book, and it is 1,100 pages long. It is a huge book. But it didn't feel like I was reading an 1,100 page book. Like, this book felt like maybe 500 pages. Like, when it ended, I was upset that it was over. I was like, I needed more. Like, I was so sad that it was done. And every day since I finished it, it's been like a week. Every day since I finished it, I've thought about reading it and rereading it. And I think that I will reread this book in the future, but I'm so sad that I'm not reading this for the first time anymore. And it is so sad to me because I loved it so much. Another thing I wanted to say is that when I read books, sometimes, this does not happen for all books I read, but sometimes they feel so real to me. And this is one of those books, and there's a review on the back from the Los Angeles Times, and it said, "It will overwhelm you. Characters so real, you feel you are reading about yourself." Which is so true. Like, the characters in this book, the town in this book, the history of the town, everything is told so well that it feels like it's real. And that's another thing I want to bring up. This story is told so well. And it's told very differently, like going back and forth in time. And someone commented on my TikTok and said that they've heard that it's hard to follow, like the timeline. And I will say it is a little difficult to follow. I was lost a few times, like with the timeline, because it does jump around quite a bit. It didn't really bother me. Like, I didn't need like a ton of context for like that time period. Like, it didn't, the jumping around didn't really bother me, but I think it will bother some people. Another thing that I want to say about this book is that it was written in a way where there was some parts where it was so terrifying and so scary and action-packed and you're on the edge of your seat. And then there's some parts where it's so like sweet and coming of age and slice of life and sad and sweet, and then the next chapter is like terrifying you. And I think that's a really hard thing to do as an author. Not that I would know, but I feel like reading books, it's hard to have a scary book that also makes me really sad and connected to the characters. And I think that's something that this book does so well. I absolutely loved it. Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, and he has been since I started reading. And I felt like I had to read it. Like, I feel like you can't love Stephen King and not read it. I'm so glad that I read it. I'm sad that it's over. I love it so much. And I also want to talk a little bit about the movies that they've made out of this book. So I watched the mini-series, like the 2 little mini-series episodes from 1990 after finishing this book. And let me just say, I think that the mini-series is a great adaptation of this book. Everyone like that I was reading reviews on Letterboxd hated it, and they were like, it's so made for TV, and but I think it's a great adaptation. Like, yes, there are some parts that are kind of stupid, but also it was 1990, and I think for it being so long ago, like, it was really good, and it was a very close to the book adaptation. Like, the miniseries, it did take out some stuff and it switched some stuff around. Like, I think one thing I noticed was that like Stanley, when he saw Pennywise as a mummy. Ben was supposed to see Pennywise as the mummy, but Ben saw his dead father, and then Stanley saw Pennywise as the mummy. So just little stuff like that, like switching stuff around, but it really didn't bother me, and I think that it was a great adaptation. Like, I think you can watch the miniseries from 1990 and know basically the gist of what happens in this book. And then I need to talk about the new movies. It Chapter 1 from 2017 and It Chapter 2 from 2019. Let me just say, the movie It Chapter 1 is in my Letterboxd top 4, and it has been for a very long time. I love that movie. I think that movie is incredible. I don't like the second movie as much as the first one, but I don't think anyone did. But that being said, I do think that the second movie from 2019 is a very good sequel. I just don't think I like the events in the second half of the story as much as the first. Something I will say, everything that the miniseries seemed to like exclude from their story were included in the new movies, and everything that like the miniseries included weren't included in the new movies, I feel like. But I think with the new movies from 2017 and 2019, I think it took the story and like brought it like it made the story really fresh, and it like wasn't scared to take things out. And I really like how there was an entire movie for the kids and then there was an entire movie for the adults, because the kid actors in that movie and the casting in both of the movies is incredible. Like, it is so good. Everything they changed made the story flow really well and brought it to like a new generation of people, I guess, because this book did come out in 1987, I believe, and then the miniseries came out in 1990, and then 27 years later, the new movie came out in 2017. But there's so much more, so many other things that I could say about this book. It's been like a week since I finished this book, and I still have just been thinking about it and thinking about what I want to say in my review and just everything. But really, it comes down to I had so much fun reading this book. Like, this book has put me in a book hangover still. And like I said, it's been a week. I haven't read a single thing since I finished this book, because nothing, like, you know when you read a book and you're like, that is such a high quality, well-written book. I think with Stephen King, it doesn't even matter what the story is. It's just his writing that I love so much. Like, his like imagery and the little details that he adds, and the people that he writes about and his characters feel so real. And I think it's because they have like little things about them, or like little quirky things about them that makes them feel like real people. But it's just crazy to me. Like, reading this book, I felt like it was real, which is so stupid. And I know it's stupid, but like, I felt like this story was real, and I'm so sad that it's over. I read it in 2 weeks, and which is insane for me. Usually I read very slow. I annotated the whole thing. I miss reading it. I loved reading it. I'm giving it 5 stars. If you want to read this, I would look up trigger warnings. Also, I think something I should talk about is that weird scene with Beverly and the boys that everyone on Reddit talks about. And I was nervous for that. I knew it was going to be weird, and like, it wasn't as weird as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as weird as I thought it was going to be. I've heard some people say they had to skip it. It was weird, and I didn't like, I don't think it was needed in this story, but I don't think that it was as weird as people have made it out to be. So you know, for reference. Anyway, that is my review of It by Stephen King. I'm giving it 5 stars. It might be on my top 5 list at the end of this year. If you like Stephen King, I hope you try to read this. I hope you love it. Thank you so much for getting this far. If you've made it this far in these videos, that is insane. I've just been rambling on about this book for so long, and I feel like now my era of reading this book is finally coming to an end, which is so sad, but I loved every second of it. I love this book. It's one of my new favorites, and I hope if you read it, you love it. All right, well, that's all I have to say about It by Stephen King. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make something down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye!